Welcome back. Thank you for staying with Bernama World. Now, U.S. President Donald Trump has sparked controversy with his proposal for U.S. control of the Gaza Strip, describing his vision as the Riviera of the Middle East. Now, his remarks come amid ongoing devastation in Gaza and has drawn sharp criticism, with UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres warning that such plans could amount to ethnic cleansing. Now, to explore the historical, political and legal dimensions of this issue, we are joined by Dr. Ozzy Jasiu, an assistant professor at the Department of History and Civilization, Faculty of Islamic Revealed Knowledge and Human Sciences at the International Islamic University, Malaysia. Dr. Ozzy, thank you for joining us. We had a slight hiccup earlier, but it's fine. We're back on track right now, and let's begin with your initial thoughts. When you first heard Trump's proposal, did you see it as a serious plan or more of a political statement?
Well, it seems to be a serious plan, and President Donald Trump, even though majority of humanity probably hates him, he has something that he usually doesn't know how to lie. And his declaration about annexing Gaza and committing ethnic cleansing against the Palestinians seems what the Americans and Israelis are up to. And we know actually that since the start of the genocide in Gaza in October 2023, Israeli leaders have repeatedly demanded the expulsion of the Palestinians. They want to have a final solution for the Palestinians. And as we have seen, even after 16 months of war and the decimation of Gaza, the destruction of Hamas and Hezbollah, Israel haven't yet been able to break the Palestinian resistance.
Now, how does this plan contradict the principles of self-determination and also sovereignty, particularly from both an Islamic and also international legal perspective?
It is against the international law. The state of Palestine is recognized as a sovereign state by 146 out of 193 members states of the United Nations. The United Nations General Assembly has recognized with a majority of votes the state of Palestine, even though the Americans refused it. And look, the Palestinians, they have their own history. And for the Americans to claim that we are going to annex this territory, it is against international law. It is an invasion. And the Americans, they do not have a mandate from the United Nations to go and annex and invade another country. But what President Trump declared against the Palestinians is not the first illegal declaration that he has made since taking office. We have probably seen in the news that he have expressed his desire to annex Greenland, Canada, and even the Panama Channel. So he is known for controversies, but these are illegal.
And Doctor, how does this proposal then fit into perhaps the wider narrative of U.S. foreign policy in the Middle East over the past few decades?
Well, President Trump, as I mentioned before, is probably the most straightforward of American leaders. If we see U.S. foreign policy in the Middle East over the past few decades, and especially since the collapse of the Soviet Union, when the Americans had no longer a superpower which was going to stop them to invade and destroy Muslim countries. So what President Trump is saying is exactly what the narrative of US foreign policy has been in the Middle East. The main objective of American foreign policy towards the Middle East, especially since the fall of the Soviet Union and the start of the so-called war on terror, has been destroying all those Arab and Muslim nation states which supported the independence of Palestine and giving an end to the Palestinian issue. While during the era of the Clinton administration, when we had even the Oslo Accords, these accords, which in this time were done when Prime Minister of Israel was Yitzhak Rabin, but who was assassinated. And after his assassination by Jewish extremists, we will have the Netanyahu and the Likudniks taking power. US politics towards the Middle East have changed, and their major ambition is to make sure that Israel is going to prevail over the rest of the Muslim countries, and the Palestinian question will come to an end.
Now, Dr. Olsi, could you enlighten us what could be the potential geopolitical consequences of the U.S., taking control of Gaza and the impacts both regionally and, of course, globally?
Well, the Americans would like to make to Palestinians and in particular to Gaza what Hitler tried to do to Czechoslovakia, or what Stalin did to Crimea after the Second World War. So the present US administration, in collaboration with the criminal regime of Israel, they want to pursue their process of ethnic cleansing and the deportation of Palestinians from their historical homeland. The Zionist project will not be able to succeed for as long as Palestinians will live in the historical Palestine. The ambition of the Zionist extremists is to create the Eretz Israel, or the Greater Israel, and they want to have a Jewish-only state. They do not tolerate Muslims and Christians, and in particular Arabs. So what will be the consequence is the Americans want to give a final solution to the Palestinians, like Hitler tried to give a final solution to the Jews. But this crazy and extremist policy of President Donald Trump is probably going to create a new Middle East war. We are having already Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, neighboring Arab countries, including Iran, where all these countries are forcefully refusing this scenario.
Now, Doctor, in light of what you've explained earlier about what's happening, what role should international organizations and regional powers play now to prevent forced displacement and ensuring any future governance of Gaza respects Palestinians' agency?
Well, international organizations and regional powers, they should pressure the American government to stop doing mad things. The previous US administrations, even though they stood beside Israel, and during the 4 Arab-Israeli wars, we had almost always the Americans and the British fighting on the side of Israel in order to defeat the Arabs. And during even the recent war between Axis of Resistance and Israel, we had the United States and Britain, which supported Israel. But still, the regional powers and international organizations like the United Nations is already protesting. They should ask the Americans to respect the international law. We know very well that the present US government is extremely Zionist. They believe that Muslims have no place in Israel and Palestine and in Jerusalem. But there is an international law which Americans have to respect it. They have to accept multiculturalism, they have to accept coexistence, and they have to accept that Palestinians are nowhere to go.
Well, Dr. Olsi, definitely a lot to think about and also to talk about. We have to invite you to our studio again to discuss on this matter, but that's all the time we have for this segment. And thank you, Dr. Olsi, for sharing your time today. Thank you. Now, don't forget to visit bernama.com and follow us on all our social media channels, YouTube, X, Instagram and Facebook for the latest news. You can also receive updates from the Bernama Radio at 93.9 FM. Now, this has been The World on Bernama TV. I'm Melissa Ong. Thanks for watching.